Welcome to Conversations in the Gallery. Today's gallery is the big outdoors, but specifically the lawn at Old State House Museum. And we are happy to have this wonderful resource and to share with you and all of Arkansas all our beautiful lawn and trees. And with us today is Janet Carson, and she's going to talk with us about our lawn and our trees.
Well, thank you for having me. You know, I love this place. This is a beautiful park-like setting in downtown Little Rock. It's kind of an oasis of a garden. It's one of the very first Master Gardener projects we ever had in the state, and it continues to be a project where they do plantings around the fountain. But the trees and the lawn here, there's been a lot of events out here. You know, I think we're fortunate in Arkansas that we have so many trees, and I think sometimes because of that we take it for granted. But you know, if we have deciduous trees, they give us shade when we definitely need it in the summer, when we get our hot, humid days, and it's nice to be outside under the shade tree. But then if they're deciduous, they lose their leaves and we can get some sunshine coming through and warm up a little bit in those colder winter days. And of course the evergreen trees like these magnolias, they're beautiful year-round, but you do need to be aware of how large some of these trees can get, and know that on the front end when you're doing your planting.
You know, we've had people actually call here and say, do you have magnolias on your lawn? There's something just iconic about a magnolia tree with a structure that's 183 years old, and people just like that. They want to know, and you know, a lot of times they're looking for picture backgrounds.
Well, and the thing with a magnolia tree, you know, if you have a large plantation or a large yard like you have here at the Old State House, these fit. But for many of us, we have a traditional home landscape, and that might be a little bit too large. But there are now varieties of southern magnolias that are small, like the Little Gem or Brown Beauty. So there's several things that you can use. But you know, one of the things, you've got a new tree here on the property, the Shumard oak, and that is a wonderful tree. And I think if you'll look at it though, it's an oak tree, and there's a lot of different species of oaks, and you'll notice there's a lot of oak trees here that are completely devoid of leaves, and that one still has all of its leaves on it, it looks like. Some of these trees will retain their foliage, and that is a good thing for them, and they'll drop their leaves as the new ones come on. But sometimes we see a tree in our home landscapes, and if it doesn't drop its leaves, we're worried that it might have died. But with Shumards, they do tend to have their leaves persist possibly a little bit longer than some of the other oak species.
And one of these oaks stays green all year round.
Now that's a live oak, and live oaks, we're probably at the northern range for a live oak in the south. You won't see any in North Arkansas, and even here we sometimes will have some winter damage. But our live oaks in central Arkansas do not compare to live oaks in Louisiana or more southern climes where they're massive, huge trees. But and that's one thing you also need to know when you're picking a tree. Know how large it's going to get. Is it evergreen or deciduous? Look up and see if you have power lines, because you don't want the energy companies coming through and pruning to keep those lines clear. But then also, you know, planting in the dormant season is good for our trees because they can go ahead and put their root system out while they're not having to supply a lot of food and nutrition to those leaves.
Well, we're just really proud of our beautiful trees, and we get a little anxious when the storms come through. We just feel like they really lend to our history and our enjoyment for people of Arkansas coming to Old State House Museum. I want to thank you for being with us for our conversation in the gallery, and we hope to see you again.